A new year, a new look. Clicks had an upgrade. Welcome to Click, your gateway to technology nirvana. My name's Spencer Kelly, but that's not important right now. What is that this is the place to come to satisfy your weekly cravings for everything in the world of tech. And that means the coolest kits, the latest news, and the best downloads and websites. We'll also be bringing you the big name interviews and the big issues affecting your digital life. And what better place for a new beginning than the country poised to become the new technology superpower, China. This week we're in Beijing and Shanghai to discover the new China, the latest innovations, the entrepreneur, and the company that bought part of IBM. Also, we go behind the Great Firewall to find out how the authorities are trying to control the information flow to their own people. Plus, the latest technology news, and Kate's here with a look at some of the latest and brightest sites on the web. This is Tiananmen Square in Beijing, poignant symbol of communist China. It's also the world's largest square. It really is vast, and it's surrounded by reminders of Chinese politics and history. Over there, the Forbidden City. This is the Great Hall of the People, and behind me, the mausoleum, the final resting place of Chairman Mao, father of the Communist Revolution. But 60 years on, there's a very different revolution taking place right under his nose. Since Mao's death in 1976, China has changed enormously, racing to catch up with the rest of Asia. Mobile phones and cameras have become must-haves. Everywhere you go, people are talking, texting, and surfing. An explosion of capitalism has turned cities like Shanghai and Beijing into futuristic skylines. Big business and consumer technology alike have found a new home here. The country is already the world's largest producer of mobile phones, PCs, and cameras, which it can churn out in their millions, and all because of China's biggest resource: people, and more people. It's worth taking a minute to look at the stats because they're truly amazing. China is the world's most populous country with 1.3 billion people. On size alone, it's fast becoming a technology superpower. It almost has no choice in the matter. For example, even though only 8% of its people have access to the internet, that equates to 100 million people online, second only to the US.
There are 9 million bicycles in Beijing.
And the Chinese government are very keen to make sure its internet infrastructure is up to the job. It's quite literally bringing its people up to speed.
Well, about 70 to 80% of them are actually using broadband for internet access. Well, I guess one reason is that broadband access is actually quite cheap in China. It's only costing about $10 to $15 per month for unlimited internet access.
No longer just a tech producer, China is becoming a gargantuan tech consumer. It's in places like these that the Chinese are indulging their love for technology, and they're doing it over 1, 2, 3, 4 floors. A rabbit warren of small electronics boutiques selling everything from known brands to homemade kit, from multicoloured CDs to 2 gigabyte memory cards. No one can accuse the Chinese of being behind the times. Just like the rest of the world, they're also in love with their phones. But perhaps here, more than in most countries, mobiles have an added value. This is, after all, a country where public displays of affection and freedom to say what you want are still not taken for granted, as we'll be seeing later. So here, mobile phones offer new privacy for conversation and romance. Walk into a mobile phone store and you're presented with only 2 choices of network, but a multitude of homemade brands of handset, some designed to satisfy even the most demanding user. Now take this one for example. This is another all-in-one box. It's an MP3 player, an MPEG-4 video player. It claims to be a PDA too, a 2 megapixel camera with flash and a video camera. And did I mention you can make calls on it too? Now maybe it doesn't have the style of some of the better known brands, which probably explains why many Chinese still opt for the more established makes. As well as producing the most phones, the Chinese are now buying more phones than any other country. They now have over 380 million of them. And just like the internet penetration figures, the number of mobiles is rising at an impressive rate. China's reputation as a source of cheap labour and cheap goods is being challenged. There is also innovation here. In 2000, Click spoke to Jack Ma, a budding Chinese entrepreneur with a fledgling web service aimed at connecting traders across China to help them find the best price for goods and services. 5 years on, and Jack is now one of the richest men in the country. He runs a range of online marketplaces under the brand name Alibaba, including Taobao, a rival to eBay, and an online payment system. Jack, welcome to Click.
Thank you.
Your product is very much about businesses doing business on the web. That's quite unusual for China, isn't it? Business is a very personal thing over here.
Yeah.
How have you been able to persuade people that that's not necessarily the only way to do business?
Internet is a community. Don't think internet is just a computer. Internet is a community. Only you build your website like a community-like thing, your company can grow fast.
Can China become a technology superpower?
Takes much time and luck. Today, I don't think people should have expectation on that. It is true that China grows very fast on the internet, but on the other side, China is encouraging the innovation, is encouraging creativity, but it takes a very long time. You see China, why people feel surprised by China? Because China's been like a sleeping lion for years. And then start to jump, and people say, "Oh my God, it's running so fast." But it's not that scary. Yeah.
How is the US perceived here in terms of its IT dominance of the world?
We are challenging that, the internet. Otherwise, I would not compete with eBay. We're not compete with Google. I think, well, they could be very successful in the US, in the West, but in China, no. Because we're more entrepreneur than them in China today. They were very entrepreneur 5 years ago, but today they're not entrepreneur at all. They're very corporate.
So you relish the challenge?
Yep.
You're up for it?
Yep.
Jack, thanks very much for your time.
My pleasure.
Oh yes, China is very much ready to compete with US technology. In fact, in one particular case, it liked it so much, it bought the company. In December 2004, Chinese manufacturer Lenovo did what was previously unthinkable. It bought part of IBM, the part, that is, that makes PCs. It instantly went from the 9th largest to the 3rd largest manufacturer of PCs in the world.
对于联想来说呢，就是它的意义。It's a very important transaction for us. For Lenovo, the acquisition makes us become a truly international company with accumulated international management team and international brand, reputable brand. For example, ThinkPad and all the patent technology related to that brand. And besides, we are now having immediately distribution network worldwide.
Lenovo seems determined to continue pushing the country's technology scene. Check out some of the products on display in the showroom.
Always on the move? How about a roll-up keyboard? VoIP camera phone, anyone? Hello? It's a ThinkPad with a swivel screen that becomes a tablet, and a mobile phone that emits perfume just because it can. This is a typical gaming PC. First useful feature, all the components are easily accessible, so if you want to add another card, you can. But more fun, if you're just using the computer for web processing or for emailing, you leave the speed control at green. But if you want the processor to work a bit harder, turn the dial to red. The fan speeds up, which means the processor can work a lot faster.
Lenovo is thinking big and aiming high. It could very well become China's first truly international company. China's got the size, and it's also showing the determination to spread beyond its borders. We're at the dawn of a new century, and it seems there's a new kid on the block.
But it's not a completely bright future for China. Later, we'll be taking a look at the darker side of the country's IT developments. First, though, here's this week's technology news.
The new year may not have a very happy start for millions of Windows users. A security hole has been found in the Picture and Fax Viewer utility in Windows 98, Windows Server 2003 and Windows XP. It allows hackers to install code onto PCs. Viruses or malware can be triggered simply by users opening an infected picture file or clicking on a maliciously constructed website. Microsoft admits it's a serious problem, but says the attacks are not widespread. It's providing a free download which should help protect users. More information can be found on our website. Mobile phone maker Motorola has announced a new subscription-based radio service for cell phones called iRadio. Offering 435 channels, it thinks most customers will download the commercial-free music off the internet and then transfer it to their handsets to listen in. It's expected to launch later this year, possibly with the new Rocker E2 model. If you've been unable to get your hands on an all-new Xbox 360 games console over the past few weeks, things are about to change. Many Xbox fans were left empty-handed after severe shortages following its launch last month. Microsoft has now announced a third manufacturing partner to help meet demand. And finally, in Britain, the man behind Apple's most successful gadgets has been awarded the CBE in the Queen's New Year's Honours list. The eye of Apple's eye, British-born Jonathan Ive, designed the original candy-coloured iMac. He's been the driving force behind the design of much of Apple's hardware, including the iBook, the PowerBook, the Power Mac, the Mac Mini, and the ubiquitous iPod.
So far, we've been showing you just how far China's come in terms of tech development. In the space of about a decade, it's played catch-up remarkably well with some of the most advanced countries in the West. But in some respects, there are still stark differences, as Richard Taylor now explains.
With a rapidly expanding online population, it's tempting to see China as hurtling full speed towards digital nirvana. But all is not quite what it seems.
Somewhere along the way, the idea that the Chinese people should be able to inform and be informed has been lost.
China is proof the net can be developed and strangled all at once. Being online here is a distinctly hit-and-miss experience. Fine if you want to access mundane content, but try to get into anything considered remotely sensitive by the government, and it soon starts grinding to a halt.
For example, I've been trying to access the BBC News site for quite a while. A government official tells me there must be what he calls a technical problem.
In truth, these technical problems are afflicting more and more information sites in China, like for example the open source encyclopedia Wikipedia, perhaps because it's fallen foul of the government's recent declaration that news and information in today's China should only be what it calls healthy and in the public interest. This official admitted to me that the authorities consider the net a mixed blessing. He says it abounds with pornography and gambling sites, and while it can be a source of good information, it also carries with it the possibility of spreading rumour and misinformation. With 56 ethnic minorities, he said, we can't risk one slandering another. And so Chinese netizens find themselves surfing in the shadow of the world's most sophisticated censorship machine, now more menacing than ever. There's now an estimated 30,000 strong internet police force, which, with the aid of Western-provided technology, is dedicated to monitoring websites and emails. On a technical level, the gateways which connect China to the global internet filter traffic coming into and going out of the country. Keyword blocking technology, again much of it provided by Western companies, is used to prevent access to offending sites. And the country's 110,000 internet cafes are now highly regulated and all state licensed, equipped with surveillance systems. Increasingly, though, the authorities are relying on individuals to censor themselves or risk harsh and well-publicised penalties if they dare to challenge the establishment.
Amnesty International is aware of at least 64 cyber dissidents who are in prison right now just for peacefully expressing their opinions online, whether it's in an email or on a website. Some of the offences they're accused of are signing an online petition, sending information to a foreign organisation, or disseminating information about the SARS virus.
And corporate China is also expected to play an active part in this self-censorship, keeping a close eye on content. This website forum administrator didn't want to be identified. Suffice to say, he's in no doubt what his job entails.
If you got anything against the government, we got deleted. No exception. Because it's forum. It's a public place. If the government find anything against them, in the forum, it's gonna jeopardize our company.
But despite this, many people here refuse to be cowed and are finding some inventive ways to skirt the regulations. One simple way is to turn to other forms of communication, like texting from mobiles and instant messaging, which have proved successful in distributing information quickly. Blogging too is also proving a hugely popular alternative to websites for individuals to find self-expression. Michael Anti has long been campaigning for free speech. His blog is renowned as being one of China's true sources of information. He told us the cat and mouse game between the government and its people is set to continue.
The government don't know how to control the blog thing. So maybe the next year they got to know how to control, but maybe we will change another tool to express our meanings.
And equipped with the right know-how, some Chinese are already using sophisticated technologies to beat the authorities at their own game. Advanced software, for example, allows users to anonymously redirect their internet activity through a third-party computer, known as a proxy server, which is out of reach of the Chinese authorities. You'll find more resources on these at our website, except, of course, in China itself. I suspect here it could be some time before our technical glitch sorts itself out.
Richard Taylor reporting on China's relentless censoring of the net. What do you make of what you've just heard? We'd love to hear your thoughts on the subject. Are the Chinese authorities ultimately fighting a losing battle over something so anarchic? Get in touch and note the new email address, simply click@bbc.co.uk. Now though, here's Kate Russell with another batch of her favourite websites in the new look Webscape.
With the holiday season behind us, you might want to think about updating your technology. Or maybe you've been given the gift of a new high-tech gadget and can't wait to set it up and start using it. Well, this little gem of a website will be there to hold your hand every step of the way. Digitalhome.cnet.com is an interactive site full of tutorials on how to set up various aspects of a high-tech digital home. It covers loads of topics from adding voice chat to your gaming experience to connecting up your new high-definition TV. Navigation is made really simple with this panel on the left, which links through to all the main sections, such as digital imaging, games, home control and home theatre. The Convince Me section, which opens up first when you launch a project, is a great idea, especially if you have someone else to persuade before starting the work. Click the tabs across the top to advance through the various stages of the instruction. And when you get to the How-To section, it contains a short movie with a commentary to step you through the task. And of course, there's the faithful Print This Project button if you prefer to work at your own pace. Now, if you're more interested in self-improvement than home improvement, you might want to catch up on all the latest trends and fashions that will be hitting the high street this year. Fashion.net provides a really cool portal that will help you find your way on the web to all the top designers' websites and a whole lot more. The ultimate in chic, the front end of this portal is elegant and minimalist, with links to the 5 core sections clearly marked, and the subsequent internet trail through to the information you want really easy to follow. Click on fashion, for example, and you'll be offered a list of choices from all over the world. Clicking designers brings up a list of key fashion locations to choose from, and once selected, a list of designers and where they can be found in that city appears underneath, together with, where possible, a link to their website. If you like to soak up popular and unpopular opinion, checking out some of the fashion blogs under this section is also highly recommended. This is the kind of site that you just need to wander around and see what you can find. But don't forget to plug in your Gucci mouse before you start surfing. Now, if you've hammered your credit cards and ordered lots of items online over the break, you might have found yourself wondering about the security of your financial details. IDtheftCentre.org is the place to go if you want to set your mind at rest. This well-presented website is aimed at consumers who are looking for tips on how to avoid the risks associated with identity theft. The menus are clear and easy to follow, and I like the fact that the straightforward tips and information try not to sensationalise the threat. There are tips for individuals and businesses, and there's even a section dedicated to those unlucky enough to have fallen victim to the crime or think they may have. Taking the victim guides tests will help you assess if you're in danger of being caught out. Although it's worth remembering that the creators of this website are a non-profit organisation based in North America, and so the contacts and specific laws will generally be aimed at the American audience. A valuable resource nonetheless, if only to help put your mind at ease. And finally, an interesting site for those of you who like to celebrate this time of year. If you went to a party over the holiday break and tasted a cocktail you'd like to recreate at home, then you could do worse than get the virtual bartender to assist you. MyVirtualBartender.com is the home of this agreeable young lady who will remember your name and make small talk with you as you discuss the drinks you want to know about. Click on Meet Shannon to get started, and very responsibly, she'll make a statement regarding the legalities of drinking alcohol if you're underage. You'll then need to click the Meet Shannon tab on the right to finally get to talk to the girl. The rest is pretty self-explanatory, mainly because Shannon talks you through it herself. Admittedly, there are not a huge amount of cocktails to choose from, but I've picked this site more for the novelty factor than anything else, and there are a reasonable number of tasty beverages that she can serve. Well, as ever, there are links to all of the pages explored today on our website. Enjoy. Goodbye.
And there'll be another batch from Kate's favourites folder next week. That, though, is pretty much it for this week. We hope you've enjoyed the New Look programme. In fact, if you've seen anything which sparks off an opinion or a thought, why not get in touch? Our new email address is click@bbc.co.uk. And why not check out our New Look website too? There's loads of programme information on there. The link to Click is bbc.co.uk/click. Next week, we're flying east across the Pacific to Las Vegas to visit the Consumer Electronics Show, the place to catch all the kit that's going to be hitting your shops in the next year. So we'll see you there.